Hello everyone, today we'll be taking a look at the Tikit Virtual Agent, or just the Virtual Agent as I'll probably refer to it from here on out. So the Virtual Agent is the companion application to Tikit and is actually the application that your end users or your requesters will use to interact with Tikit. So while you'll add Tikit as its own application to Teams with the intent of your agents and analysts receiving tickets and working on those tickets, you'll want to add the virtual agent to your Teams tenant for your end users. So your end users will want to have the virtual agent added to their available apps so that they can submit tickets, submit requests, access the knowledge base, and so on. So I've got the virtual agent here pulled up. We can do things like, of course, access the help menu. You can see above here I have actually got a form here for onboarding a new employee. We can ask frequently asked questions like, my emails aren't sending, and so on. So your end users have the best chance of getting the knowledge or the answers that they seek if you have the virtual agent in conjunction with Tikit in your Teams tenant. So today, instead of just looking at the interactions or the ways that end users can interact with the virtual agent, we'll actually be taking a look at some of the setup and configuration items that will be important to your Tikit admins. So Tikit admins are most likely your Teams admins, but Tikit admins can also be added from any of your user base that have access to the tickets inside of the Tikit application within Teams. So we will be bouncing around between a couple of different resources today, including inside of Teams here. We'll also be taking a look at our help site, the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, and a couple of other items. So feel free to pause at any time as I'm kind of moving around some different areas. So you know now that you need to have the virtual agent installed for your end users, but how does that happen? What does that mean? So the virtual agent is in App Source just like Tikit is. So it's its own application, but the configuration or the main setup lift comes with the Tikit application, and the virtual agent is kind of a companion or an add-on that just needs to be installed. You can then have it published or pushed out to your end users as you see fit. So how do we get the virtual agent? Where does it come from? What do I do to get it installed? So I'm going to navigate over to my next tab here, which is actually our web application, web.tikit.ai. And I am logged in as a Tikit admin. And I'm just going to go up to the settings wheel up here in the right-hand corner. Open that up and get signed in. And there are a few items here within the web application from, again, the perspective of a Tikit admin that we want to take a look at. So I click the settings wheel, revealed the settings menu, and there are again, few items that we want to take a look at. So first of all, we're going to go to bot configuration. So if you've got Tikit added to Teams, you've gone through the setup and configuration, what's next? So if you're not following our user guides from our help site, that it's definitely a helpful thing to do, and we'll actually take a look at that here in a moment. But if you need to get the virtual agent set up, installed, you can actually do that right from the web application. Head to bot configuration and install to Microsoft Teams. From here as well, you can also edit the virtual agent's welcome message. So when your end users interact with the virtual agent and the virtual agent needs to give them some sort of greeting, let them know what the virtual agent can do, you can actually edit that here. And also at the bottom of the screen, I had to scroll down a little bit to reveal it, but this is actually where you will be able to directly impact the virtual agent's confidence. So ticket deflection score threshold is a fancy way of saying the virtual agent's confidence in what it's being asked or the message it's receiving from end users and which knowledge base articles it should fetch. So the higher this number, the more stringent or the more refined that confidence is going to be, and the lower it is, the more likely the virtual agent is going to be able to lean on synonyms and like phrases to fetch the resource or the answer that you have provided within the knowledge base. So speaking of the knowledge base, still within the web application here and within the left-hand toolbar. So we're going to go ahead and click on the hamburger here to reveal that and head down to knowledge. So this is the knowledge base. So this is where you're going to build out the questions or the question and answer pairs. So the phrases and responses, call and answer, whatever you want to refer to this as, So on the left, you've got phrases that you're anticipating or that you know your end users are going to chat or send to the virtual agent. And on the right are the responses that you want the virtual agent to serve. So I've got several examples here within my web application, within my instance of Tikit. So I've got many examples here we can look at. I need to onboard a new marketing employee. We saw that in the opening of the video. If I send that to the virtual agent actually can serve up this templated dynamic form that I've created. And templates are part of our M365 service desk tier. So we've got 2 tiers of Tikit, and the richer feature set lives within M365 service desk. So templates or just simple text phrases or links or whatever you'd like to include here. These responses can be as lengthy or as concise as you need them to be. And again, you can drop in links or you can drop in other resources, but just to give you some examples of some things that we'd like to use in our demo environment to show off some of the different things the virtual agent can do. If we need to add knowledge, it's very easy. Click add knowledge and we can actually just interact with this WYSIWYG here. This is a very pressing matter, I know. So just an example here, a couple different phrases that now the Tikit Virtual Agent or your virtual agent, whatever you'd like to name it or rebrand it as, we'll look at that in a moment as well. So it can actually be called whatever you'd like. It can take these phrases here, and now anytime it's asked anything similar to water fountain or refreshments or maybe getting a drink somewhere. So again, this is just for example's sake. But we want it to respond with yes, it's located in the lobby on each floor, and add. So after a moment here, the knowledge base will get built out and the virtual agent will learn from these entries here. And at any time we want to add to those entries or add to the phrases or modify the responses, we can do that as well. So while that's working, I'm going to actually bounce back over to the settings area here. And we can take a look at a couple different items. We've looked at bot configuration. We can also take a look at security, which I think is important for this video because you do need to be an admin for a lot of the things we're going to look at here today, including the modification of the virtual agent app settings. So from here, this is where any of your analysts that have interacted with Tikit from the side of a ticket being received in the triage channel, or they are part of the team within Teams where Tikit has been installed, they're going to be here within this list, and you can just very simply assign them the administrator role. So you'll definitely want to do that for anyone you anticipate needing to modify or have the kind of rights within Tikit. But again, this is not creating a Teams admin, this is just a Tikit admin. Okay, let's bounce back over to our knowledge base here and see if our entry has been added. It sure has. So there at the very top, where's the water fountain? It's located in the lobby on each floor. And again, at any time we can delete or edit any of these entries, add to them, modify them, add a template after the fact. So if you want to add a dynamic form like we saw again within Teams here. So this form is actually created right there within the web application. If we've got templates unlocked in the M365 service desk tier, we can actually have the virtual agent respond with a very in-depth form here. We want our end user to fill out this form, provide us more information, or in this case, the end user is actually a hiring manager of some sort that needs to fill out this form for whoever may be entering this information or whatever the example calls for there. So I've bounced back over to the web application web.tikit.ai. Just to take a look at a couple other things, we do now have synonyms as well. So at any time you want to add synonym pairs so your virtual agent gets even smarter and more conversational, you'll definitely want to take advantage of that. Okay, moving on to our next tab here, help.tikit.ai. So we've looked at the web application and maybe you weren't sure how to get there, or maybe you don't have Tikit set up quite yet. you can actually access all of the guides and all of the useful resources that we've built out and created from help.tikit.ai. And actually the very first thing, the smack dab in the middle here, is the Tikit Virtual Agent recommended setup guide. So the virtual agent guide here is pretty straightforward. There are a couple of items that it will again require a Teams admin as far as getting the app installed to your Teams tenant. So make sure that this is a role that you possess, or someone that isn't going to be managing Tikit does have Teams admin access, so that we can allow the virtual agent to be added to our Teams instance. And then just looking through the guide here, we do have some different best use cases and some useful items here as far as getting the app pushed out or having permissions set on a global level, or a per user or per team or channel scope. So again, just looking through the guide here, this is super useful information, and actually has a lot of contextual details as well to help you kind of understand the role the virtual agent plays, where it lives within the Tikit/Teams ecosystem, and how that dynamic works. And there's just a boatload of good information here. So going back to the Help Center home screen, just to kind of show off some more things here. Most of the features, some of our newer features are still getting an updated guide or getting updated resources, but just about everything that you need here to get started with Tikit, from both a admin and setup side, or from educating end users or understanding the end user experience with the virtual agent, is all here within the help guide. Okay, moving on. So now that we understand that the virtual agent is the end user's application of Tikit, so the application that pairs with Tikit for your end users to submit those requests from within Teams, access the web application, kick off automations, create tickets, access templates, kick off an SLA, kick off a Power Automated connected flow. All of these things that really shine within the Tikit dynamic, within the Teams and Tikit dynamic, really starts with the virtual agent. So internally here we call the virtual agent the key to the city, and I think that's almost an understatement. So moving right along here, I've got my next tab. I'm in the admin center for Teams, and I've actually already got the customization menu pulled up for the virtual agent. So let's go ahead and just back out of this and go back to the home page here. So again, Microsoft Teams Admin Center, need to be a Teams admin here. And we're going to go down to Manage Apps in the left-hand toolbar. And we're just going to search for Tikit, and there's our Tikit Virtual Agent. Again, this has already been added to our Teams environment, Teams tenant. And we'll just go ahead and click on this, and we see here it has been allowed. So part of the setup and configuration process that you'll see in the user guides is this is actually an app that needs to be allowed again by an admin. But once that's done, an admin can actually come in here and click on the pencil under the customizable area here, and we can change the name of it. We can change the icon. We can change the, I believe they call this the ghost icon that shows up in the app tray on the left-hand side. We can change the color, the accent color, so when the bot chats with your end users, you can change the subtle colors of the box. So rebranding and renaming it to really help with end user adoption and recognition. For the virtual agent to be installed, if you want your end users to be able to very easily, right from within Teams, they don't have to leave Teams or go to another page or another portal. They can just interact with the virtual agent application and submit their tickets there. So again, just to recap, we've looked at our help site here. We've looked at the Teams Admin Center. We've looked at the web application and some of the items there that integrate and pair with the virtual agent and setting it up and configuring it, as well as seeing the virtual agent in action here from the point of view of an end user. So feel free at any time to reach out with any questions to any of our onboarding or support specialists. And again, we do have a virtual agent video for end users as well. So if you need help finding that, again, reach out at any time.